A lot of the time, life feels like crossing a huge ocean where the currents of change are always moving beneath us. No matter how much we want stability and security, life keeps showing us that nothing stays the same. How can we keep our balance when everything is always going up and down? What can we do to find deep peace when the world around us is always changing and giving us new problems to solve? This video is about learning to ride the waves instead of fighting them, and turning fear of the unknown into a chance to grow deeply inside. To understand this better, think about how life itself works. Everything is always changing and moving. Trees get bigger, lose their leaves, and then they fall back to the ground. Rivers never hold the same amount of water twice. They keep moving. Our bodies are always making new cells, so they change all the time. If we choose to believe this basic truth, that nothing lasts forever, it gives us a lot of power. We make our own pain when we fight against the natural flow of change. When we hold on to what was, or what we wish would stay the same, it hurts when it does change. Instead, think about how freeing it would be to know that everything is only temporary. I don't mean this to sound sad. In fact, it's meant to be very freeing. It helps us remember to enjoy every moment because we know they won't last forever. We don't have to carry the heavy weight of trying to manage things that we can't. When something bad happens, knowing that it will pass can give you a quiet sense of comfort. It lets us know that this hard time will also end. When joy comes along, on the other hand, it teaches us to enjoy it fully without trying to hold on too tight. When we learn to go with the flow instead of against it, we can handle life's changes better. As we go through life, the changes that happen to us make us stronger, more flexible, and less likely to lose our balance. This point of view tells us to live with open hands, ready to take in whatever comes our way, and just as ready to let it go when the time is right. We can find deep, lasting happiness in accepting life's ever-changing dance. Knowing this deeply gives us the strength to deal with any situation with more calm and wisdom, because we know that each moment is a unique and valuable gift that will soon be gone. A lot of the unease we feel doesn't come from outside events, but from how we react to them inside. At times when we face problems, our first instinct is to fight them, wish they weren't there, or wish things were different from how they are. This pulling, this wishing, and this inner struggle are what cause real pain. Imagine having your fist squeezed very tightly. You are making your hand tense. If you loosen your grip, the tightness goes away. In the same way, when we fight against the truth of a situation, we make ourselves mentally and emotionally tense. Even though the situation isn't fun, our rejection turns that discomfort into real pain. We gain a very important understanding when we learn to watch our resistance and understand how it works. We start to understand that acceptance doesn't mean agreeing with a bad situation or a wrongdoing. It just means recognizing what is without fighting it inside. This big change frees us from the energy-draining stress of internal conflict, so we can face obstacles with a clear head. It makes room for smarter answers. You don't have to say, "This shouldn't be happening." You can say, "This is happening. Now how do I respond?" This simple change in viewpoint can turn unbearable pain into something you can handle. It gives us power to know that even though we can't always change what happens in the outside world, we can always choose how to react to it. We can find deep inner peace when we let go of our need for things to be different than they are. This understanding tells us to stop fighting, to slow down and enjoy the current moment, and to feel deeply calm, even when life is rough. Letting go of the need to change things often marks the start of the way to inner freedom. When we feel bad about the past or worried about the future, our thoughts tend to wander. We waste valuable time going over talks again and again, picturing the worst-case scenarios, or making plans for what could happen over and over again. But there is only one place where you can find real peace, calm, and deep clarity right now. The past is over. and the future hasn't come yet. This air, this feeling, and this very moment are all we really have. It is life-changing to learn how to bring our full awareness to the here and now. Putting down an anchor in rough water and finding steadiness in the middle of chaos is like that. Being in the present moment helps us break out of the never-ending cycle of worrying thinking. We pay attention to the sun's warmth, the sound of birds, and the way the ground feels under our feet. These easy thoughts help us stay grounded and connect us to the richness of life going on around and inside us. It's not about avoiding problems with this practice. It's about being present in them with calmness and center. When a difficult feeling comes up, we don't have to let it take over. Instead, we can just notice it, like a cloud moving across the sky, recognizing its presence without getting caught up in it. It's no longer the victim, but us who are watching. Being mindfully present lets us handle problems with skill instead of acting on impulse. It makes our instincts stronger and makes us value everyday things more. In the present moment's stillness, we find a safe haven, a place to rest that is always there, no matter what is going on around us. It is the only real home we will ever have. It is a calm, clear, and strong place that will never give up on us. Focused awareness is a skill that helps us feel calm inside, which helps us in all parts of our lives. We often put a lot of mental weight on how things turn out. When we set goals and work hard to reach them, we become very attached to a certain outcome. When the result doesn't turn out the way we thought it would, we feel let down, angry, or even hopeless. There is a lot of pain that can come from being so attached to results. Think about planting a seed. You get the dirt ready, water it, and put it in the sun. You have control over these acts. But you can't make the seed sprout on a certain day, and you can't promise that it will grow perfectly. Its final growth rests on a lot of things that are out of your control. In the same way, we can act wisely, work hard, and do our best in life. These acts are within our power to change. But the exact outcome, or final result, is often affected by a lot of different factors, many of which we can't control. We feel a lot more free when we learn to let go of our tight grip on certain results. We're still thinking and trying, though. It means we give the process our full attention, do our best, and then let go of the need for things to go exactly the way we want them to. We learn to be open to change and ready to handle whatever comes up. This practice frees us from the stress of wanting something and the pain of not getting it. No matter where we're going, it helps us enjoy the trip itself and find joy and meaning in the work. When we let go of rigid expectations, we make room for new opportunities, for gifts that come as a surprise, and for a deeper, more stable sense of happiness that doesn't depend on outside approval or specific accomplishments. One of the deepest ways to find inner peace and connection is to consciously practice being kind and understanding to all things, including ourselves. When we come across tough people or situations, our first reaction may be to back away, judge, or put up walls. But showing genuine kindness and warmth, even in small ways, can make a big difference in how we feel inside and how we connect with others. Imagine a stone being dropped into a pond. It makes waves that go across the whole surface. Similarly, an act of kindness, like a kind word, a thoughtful thought, or a helpful action, has effects that last a long time after the act itself. It makes our hearts softer, which makes us feel less angry, scared, and alone. Being reminded of our shared humanity helps us understand that everyone, no matter how bad their behavior is going through their own problems, fears, and hopes for happiness. We can connect on a deeper level when we understand each other better and look past our differences. We are the first ones to start this activity. Are we able to be patient, accept, and understand ourselves the way we would do that for a close friend? We often judge ourselves too harshly. By practicing self-compassion, we fill up our hearts with kindness that we can then share with others. When we approach others with an open heart, even if we don't agree with them, it changes disagreement into conversation and distance into the possibility of connecting. It doesn't mean agreeing with harmful acts, but it does mean understanding the pain that often leads to them. This kind of unconditional love really makes our lives better by building stronger relationships, promoting inner peace, and making the world a kinder place, one exchange at a time. If you look closely at the world around you, you will start to see a complex web of links. Nothing lives by itself. Everything is connected, woven, and depends on everything else. The air we breathe is shared by all living things. The water we drink moves between countries and rivers and oceans. Soil, rain, warmth, and the work of many living things are what make food possible. Even the things we think and do have effects on the people and things around us that we might not always be aware of. Coming to the deep understanding that we are all deeply connected can be very freeing and life-changing. It breaks down the illusion of being alone and creates a strong sense of connection. Once we understand this truth, it's clear that hurting another person or the world hurts us in the end. On the other hand, doing something nice, being generous, or trying to make peace is good for everyone. When we understand this, we naturally feel responsible and care for others, not because we have to, but because we know that our health is connected to everyone else's health. It makes us remember that we are all connected and a part of a single, beautiful fabric. Remembering that everything is linked can help you deal with personal problems. We are not alone in our struggles, and our own journey is part of the human experience as a whole. It makes us more aware of our actions and makes us think about how they might affect other people. This knowledge helps us see things beyond our own narrow self-interest. It creates a caring heart that knows that everything is connected, which leads to better relationships and a stronger sense of purpose in the world. When you accept reality as it is, without judging it or fighting it, you feel a deep sense of peace. Our minds are often busy making up a world that is different from the one we are experiencing. We wish things were easier, people were different, or the situation was better. Comparisons between what is and what should be all the time cause a lot of mental turmoil. Being able to fully accept truth means being able to see it clearly and say yes to the present moment, just the way it is. This is not about giving up or passively resigning to things as they are. Instead, it's about building a strong base from which smart action can grow. We waste a lot of energy fighting a battle we can't win if we are always fighting against what is. Like trying to push back the waves of the ocean. It doesn't work and is very tiring. We can learn to ride the wave instead if we accept it. We can stop wishing things were different when we accept them as they are. We free ourselves from the mental and emotional pain of constantly arguing with ourselves and from the emotional pain of having our hopes dashed. This complete acceptance lets us see things clearly, without our wants or dislikes getting in the way. It gives us space inside to think about what we need to do in a calm way. This habit teaches us to accept life as it is, no matter what it brings. It gives us the strength to answer with more intelligence and less emotion. When we accept things as they are, it's a powerful act of self-kindness that helps us find peace and calm inside, even when things outside of us are hard or unpleasant. This deep acceptance is the first thing that needs to be done to be truly free from pain. There is a stable point inside each of us that doesn't change no matter what happens in the outside world. Even if things are crazy outside and our feelings change with the weather, there is always a quiet place inside that is deeply peaceful and strong. Our inner sanctuary is not something we make. It's something we find. It's a basic part of who we are that's always been there, ready to be recognized. Picture a lighthouse that stays put in the middle of a storm. Its light keeps shining, guiding people even when the wind and waves are rough. Similarly, we can build up an inner steadiness that we can use as a safe place to be. As we do this, we need to focus on ourselves instead of the noise and expectations of the outside world and slowly come to a place of stillness. To connect with this inner source of calm, we can do things that quiet the mind, like focused breathing or just observing what is going on around us. It's a place where our situations, fears, or accomplishments don't define us. Here, we find a sense of worth and connection that doesn't depend on approval from other people. Once we find this inner steadiness, we won't have to keep looking for safety from outside sources, which are always going to be unreliable. We are less likely to be thrown off by the ups and downs of life. This safe place inside gives you a stable base from which to face challenges, make smart choices, and treat others with more kindness and understanding. Unwavering strength comes from knowing that true peace lies within. This gives us the power to face any problem with courage and grace. Everything we do, say, and even think has an impact on other people. The things we do and the people around us are affected by our goals. So, training your mind to have smart and skillful intentions becomes an important habit for living a meaningful life and making good things happen. Why we do what we do is just as important. When our goals are kind, clear, and based on a genuine desire for our own and other people's well-being, our actions naturally lead to better outcomes. On the other hand, intentions that come from greed, anger, or delusion often make things worse for us and the people we deal with. What is my intention here? Can be a very powerful question to ask ourselves before we act or speak. Do I want to connect with you or make a point? Do I want to help someone or get something for myself? Taking a moment to think about things helps us connect our inner compass with values that are good for life. This tells us to react in a way that is helpful instead of damaging and to deal with things based on our knowledge instead of our impulses. We can be responsible for the energy we bring into the world when we do this. It changes us from people who just accept what happens to people who actively shape their own and other people's lives. We can build a life with meaning, purpose, and lasting well-being by constantly holding intentions that are clear, compassionate, and in line with a deeper understanding of how everything is connected. This has a positive effect that goes far beyond ourselves. There is always a dynamic mix of good and bad things in life, like success and loss, praise and criticism. An important part of our nature is to hold on tight to good memories and push away bad ones. True inner freedom and deep resilience, on the other hand, come from having a deep emotional balance, a mind that is stable and doesn't easily change when things happen outside of it. Being emotionless or indifferent isn't the point. Instead, we should be able to observe our feelings with cool detachment and know that they are only temporary, like clouds moving across the sky. When we work on having this deep mental evenness, we respond less to the ups and downs of life. A moment of success doesn't make us feel too happy, and a moment of failure doesn't make us feel very sad. We learn to meet with an open heart and a steady mind instead. This means realizing that all feelings and experiences are temporary and letting them come and go without getting caught up in them. Being able to stay focused and grounded no matter what is going on around us is what it means. This steady balance gives us an inner anchor, a quiet power that lets us handle problems with grace and enjoy joys without holding on. It creates a deep happiness that isn't affected by what's going on around you. By learning this kind of emotional stability, we can get off the roller coaster of extreme reactions and into a space inside ourselves that gives us more clarity, more wisdom, and a deep, unwavering peace that changes the way we live our lives.